When you think of who the richest player in RuneScape history could possibly be, you probably think people like Chessie018, Jojo3000, or maybe even Win All Day. But what if I told you there's truly one RuneScape player who towers above all of them combined? This is the story of BTCs and the tragic tale of RuneScape's first and only Trillionaire. Before we dive into the video, to celebrate documenting RuneScape's richest player, I'm going to be giving away 100 mil cash to one lucky person. Just make sure to like this video, comment down below with your username, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below who you think the most infamous RuneScape player of all time is, and you could be lucky enough to win 100 mil. BTCs began playing RuneScape around late 2005 to early 2006. His older brother introduced him to the game, and he initially got started by sharing accounts with his older brother. From an early age, BTCs got into staking as a kid after discovering the duel arena by watching SparkMax videos. Like many players, BTCs found staking to be a fun form of gambling and acquiring insane amounts of wealth very quickly. It gives you a rush where the risk over reward factor is an instant dopamine hit and the spoils are plentiful. With just a few mil and a little bit of luck, anybody can become rich. After spending some time with the duel arena, BTCs discovered that some players use a strategy called X staking, where they would wager more gold for having slightly better stats. Although the stat boost was minimal, the extra gold wagered would add up over time, and with every fight being very close in a statistical sense, this provided a long-term advantage, leading to consistent profits due to the amount wagered. BTCs would use these profits to PK, and he always had an affinity for PvP, using his acquired wealth to build up his ability to start doing free-to-play fights and eventually get into Venge PKing in the pre-EOC era. But once OSRS came out, BTCs headed straight for the duel arena once again to begin X staking, and this is where the new game mode would serve as a perfect landscape to start building wealth, especially after a long break between RS3 and the launch of OSRS. Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped, the global men's lifestyle brand that is once again setting the bar higher in grooming standards. Ever wondered how I'm able to keep this beard so groomed and maintained year-round? It's because every night I'm able to have the ultimate grooming experience with Manscaped's Chairman Pro package. This all-in-one set includes everything you need for the perfect shave every single time. I've tried straight razors, traditional shaving, and a ton of different electric blades throughout the years, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the Chairman Pro. First, you got the skin-safe 4-blade foil for a super close shave, and then you have the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want that sophisticated 5 o'clock shadow look. Both heads are designed to help reduce razor burns and skin irritation, so no matter what, you're always going to be feeling smooth and comfortable when you're done. And for all the guys out there who like to shave while they're in the shower, yes, this is also waterproof, so you're going to be able to handle all your business in one place, making your grooming process easier and cleaner. The Chairman Pro is set and designed to keep your face looking its best. Whether you like to shave daily or just want to remove some hair every couple days, it's going to give you the multitude of factors that are going to allow you to achieve this in every situation. The Chairman Pro package comes in this nice little set that includes a ton of different utilities for shaving, like the Chairman Pro Shaver, which is equipped with a 5-day growth capacity, an LED spotlight for precision, and a 75-minute battery life with a digital screen displaying the battery level. It's USB-C rechargeable and has a travel lock for secure storage. It also comes with a soothing, vegan, and dermatologist-tested gel for a smooth shave that's free of irritants, a hydrating aftershave serum that reduces redness and guards against razor bumps and ingrown hairs. This is perfect for a gift set or just a grooming upgrade. And right now, this package includes a 20% discount and free international shipping if you use promo code ABYSS20 at manscaped.com or check out the link down below in the description. Trust me, this is the perfect grooming package for any man. I've been using Manscaped for years, and as you can tell, I really do take my grooming seriously. Get yours today, and you will experience the best shave of your life. As the years would go by, in 2021, the duel arena would be completely removed due to Jagex claiming that the laws around gambling were prohibited for them to operate in any longer, and this is where the story truly begins. With the removal of the duel arena, players could no longer wager gold against one another, leaving the RuneScape community in search of a new gambling outlet. Many were disappointed by this change, as the duel arena had been a fun and popular feature for nearly 20 years in the RuneScape community, and it was a favorite activity for many players in the game. That's when BTCs decided to take on the responsibility for himself. Alongside Fred, another popular streamer who gave out billions to the community just a few years prior with massive drop parties and giveaways to the players of RuneScape in those formative years, together BTCs and Fred would launch RuneScape's most successful player ranked casino. They called it the M-Watch. The M-Watch was created as a community for gamblers who still wanted to engage in RuneScape staking. Players would agree on fair gear setups and determine a set wager amount. They would then fight to the death without eating, and the winner would claim the spoils of victory. The M-Watch's success hinged on being fair. Both players needed assurance that their opponents wouldn't scam, alter gear setups, teleport, or break any of the fairness rules. Knowing this, BTCs and Fred found a perfect sweet spot in the market and worked tirelessly to create a structured setup that was accessible for everyone. Players would build credibility for doing safe death matches, allowing them to eventually wager larger amounts, and anyone caught scamming or breaking rules would be banned from deathmatching indefinitely. This was a consequence that most players considered a far greater loss than scamming just a little bit of gold. Rule breakers were punished and innocent players would be compensated, creating a well-regulated system. DMWatch quickly became the community's unofficial new duel arena. Around this time, BTCs himself would gamble within his own community at DMWatch and start a style of fighting called Voidwaker deathmatching. Both players would gear up in a high-risk setup and wager billions of gold on these fights. It quickly became very popular and BTCs was the best at it. In just a few short weeks, starting with around 500 mil, he quickly made it to over 100 billion GP. His Twitch channel was exploding in popularity and everyone wanted to see how he did it.
Hey, if we win $1,000, I'll buy the table. I'll buy the table.
Over time, BTCs would dominate the deathmatching community, steadily amassing billions of gold every single day, with dreams to become RuneScape's first ever trillionaire through this approach. However, after months of success, it wouldn't take long before people began to realize that he held a statistical advantage. In a PvP world fight, the way that a player steps into the dangerous area determines who's going to get the first full hit. Normally, you would think that this comes down to PID, right? Which determines and decides whose hit registers first when two players strike at the same time. However, with the method that BTCs used, as long as he landed the first hit on his opponent, PID became almost irrelevant, as he would always be one full hit ahead. As you can see, BTCs has an extra full hit on his opponent, and because of this, in most fights, he would get nearly a 70% edge on all battles as long as he didn't make any mistakes. The reason the Voidwaker deathmatching was so overpowered at this time for people who understood this mechanic was because of the Voidwaker special attack. It would do guaranteed magic damage between 50 and 150% of your melee max hit, which meant that you were guaranteed to do DPS. So when you add these two formulas together, a free full first hit and guaranteed damage, this would be an insane advantage in any stake. The real skill involved in Voidwaker deathmatching would lie in understanding RuneScape's movement mechanics. Outsmarting and outmaneuvering your opponent to step in and out of the safe zone at just the right moment would give you that crucial 70% advantage on first hit, and it was truly a mental game. This tactic was an absolute goldmine for anyone who knew how to perfect it. It wouldn't take long before other people started to mimic this, and often it would lead to dance wars for first hit outside of the Lumbridge entrance. This is what RuneScape gambling had become. Around this time, players were accusing BTCs of abusing a glitch in order to guarantee first hit on every fight, and that's what they speculated he was doing.
But you're telling me you could guarantee yourself to get PID every single time you fight somebody? Wallah, that's a scam. Wallah, that is. What, that's how PvP works? It's not bug abuse. No, bikers, don't justify it. Stop. If you could guarantee yourself to get PID when PID's supposed to be random, that's cheating. Bro, you can't justify that. But you decided never to teach me about this PID abuse. Like, you literally just, like, you scammed the community yourself. I want to scam too. You're just greedy. You know what? We're starting a riot and we're going to spread the word about BTCs, aka bikers, taking 900 bill from the community, guaranteeing him 70-30 odds without his opponent even knowing. Oh my god, you f***ing rat.
This actually wasn't the case at all. As Modash stated on Twitter, PID is always random and players cannot control it. This is just how RuneScape movement mechanics were coded. PID refers to when RuneScape's engine determines whose hit splat appears first in a fight. However, if there's a delay between the two hits, the PID becomes irrelevant, giving the player who strikes first a full hit advantage in battle. This gap between hits is entirely dependent on how a player's character moves when entering the combat area. Players who have mastered movement mechanics could outmaneuver their opponents, creating that first hit gap even if their opponent had the engine-decided PID advantage. Creating a 2-tile gap was enough for the game's engine to register your hit as first regardless of who had PID. We've seen this mechanic in movement staking within the duel arena since early 2004. Fair or unfair, RuneScape movement mechanics have always been coded this way since the game's creation. After just 7 months of BTCs grinding Voidwaker deathmatching to thousands of viewers on Twitch, he had finally completed the dream and became RuneScape's first ever trillionaire, and he started with just 500 mil. However, right after BTCs made it to the 1 trillion GP milestone, his account would be banned for real-world trading, and Jagex stated that his account was involved in serious RWT, and they decided to actually make it a permanent ban. At the time on RuneScape black markets, the amount of gold that he had on his account was worth around 170 to 200,000 US dollars and around 770,000 in bond prices. Just like anyone else would, BTCs tried to fight the ban, making his own video pleading his case, claiming that there was no way that he would have risked 1 trillion GP, which was worth nearly $200,000 in gold, in order to RWT a couple of measly bill. The high risk of being banned wouldn't even begin to justify the sale, and this is what he cared about most. He wanted the milestone of becoming RuneScape's richest player, and he stated that this was a monumental element of growing his Twitch stream, doing giveaways, and building his reputation in the community. After Jagex took some time and looked into the case more carefully, they decided that the ban would be final and told BTCs that he would never see his gold again. BTCs was annoyed by this and felt that the situation was completely unfair. He claimed that Jagex falsely banned him for real-world trade due to the giveaways that he was hosting on his livestream, and even documented all of the trades and showed everyone who won one of his prizes and how they were also wrongfully banned. After all, Jagex has been known for intercompany corruption in the past, and he knew that he was being targeted by the anti-cheat team. In the end, BTCs handled the situation with grace. Despite understandably being upset over losing such an insane amount of wealth, he still attended TwitchCon a couple days later and shared some enjoyable moments with Jagex staff. Even though he felt that his incredible RuneScape achievement had been unfairly taken from him, he knew that he still had work that was left unfinished. Besides, BTC still owned and operated DM Watch, and it would be at this point that he decided to change his methods on how to operate the client chat, and after all the drama and backlash, he decided how he was going to earn back his wealth. Now that methods were out in the open, the Voidwicker style of deathmatching started to die down, and most players opted for a more fair way to do fights, and that is the exact moment when everything changed. BTCs began selling ranks within the DM Watch client chat so that people could be trusted with certain amounts of gold. Each rank would be set at a different price, and the amount of gold that they would be trusted with would be coordinated with that rank. For example, if somebody purchased a rank worth 5 billion GP, that would mean that they could hold up to 5 billion GP worth of gold during death matches, since if they scammed, it would be at a sum of 0 gold gained. This was a pivotal moment for RuneScape deathmatching, as players would try and find high-risk stakes for billions of gold, but without the security of the duel arena keeping the rules in check, it would be entirely up to the players to be honest about wins and losses, and with that much gold on the line, it was almost completely unrealistic to assume that they would be playing fair and pay out a loss when they could easily just scam. And so with this trust-based ranking system, players would start engaging in X-staking death matches, where instead of stats and gold being the gain of advantage, the trust itself would be the deciding factor. If you were in a 1 billion GP deathmatch with somebody who held a 5 billion GP rank, you could be sure that they wouldn't scam you because they would end up losing an additional 4 billion GP and they would be removed from the clan chat. This system would allow ranked players to passively collect a trust tax for ensuring a safe deathmatch when dueling them, making the purchase of a rank a profitable long-term investment, essentially becoming a casino. Hosts with all different rank amounts would engage in Darok death matches where they would once again do no eating fights until somebody died. The use of Daroks always allowed for insane comebacks and a universally fair fight because even on low hit points, you could always headshot your opponent. It didn't take long for the players of RuneScape to see how profitable this was, turning it into a huge moneymaker. Hundreds, if not thousands of death matches were happening daily, but instead of Jagex' usual 0.5% tax per duel, these deathmatch hosts were charging a hefty 10% fee.
Home run, Tank. Home run, baby. It's fine. Finish it now, Hunter. Finish it now. Yes! I win! I'm the richest in the game! I'm the richest in the game!
In retrospect, this setup might seem a bit extreme, but players had little to no choice but to pay the 10% tax or risk losing their entire pot to a different person who could potentially be a scammer. BTCs had effectively created the ultimate RuneScape casino, and soon his wealth would begin to skyrocket once again. After seeing how much money all of these ranks were making doing trust DMs off a system that he created, he decided to eventually start charging a weekly rent from all the taxed deathmatch hosts, in addition to their rank fees. At one point in time, BTCs was raking in over 60 billion GP per week, and that was just from the rent off of the ranks. Even the lowest ranking members of DM Watch were earning around 30 to 40 billion GP per month individually, while some of the top ranks were making between 200 to 300 bill. Across all 25 ranks in DM Watch, the total monthly revenue was reaching between 5 to 10 trill, and that was quickly increasing with new members being added to the team every single week. Call it what you want, but BTCs became like RuneScape's very own Jordan Belfort.
I want you to understand, we don't do anything illegal whatsoever.
Running the clan chat with the precision of a Fortune 500 company, the clan chat thrived for over a year, meaning at its peak, he was generating the equivalent of 3.12 trillion GP annually, a pace that surpassed even his earnings before the ban. Where it once took BTCs around 7 months to earn 1 trillion GP, he was now achieving this every 3 to 4 months, and it was on autopilot. He was actually making so much money that every week, as a way to give back to the community and also promote the clan chat, he would do a 10 billion GP giveaway on his stream and even include other content creators to help host while also paying them for their time. If we were to break that down, that's over 40 billion GP per month that he was giving out to the RuneScape community, more than pretty much anyone ever in history. While other CCs were attempting to emulate and do the same thing after seeing his enormous success, they wouldn't give out a fraction of the GP or profits to the community, and most of the time the ranks would just end up scamming a big pot due to the lack of loyalty to the clan chat and wanting to make a quick buck. However, on August 8th, 2024, everything would come crashing down, as Jagex put out a news post stating that players had 1 week to stop all deathmatching operations, and if you were caught after the 15th of August engaging in any sort of deathmatch, it would result in a 3-day ban, and if you were caught breaking this rule again, it would result in a permanent ban for your RuneScape account. So just like that, after years of DM Watch raking in trillions, Jagex finally decided to crack down on deathmatching, stating that it wasn't a genuine form of PvP, and a lot of the time it was linked to real world trade. To this day, staking in RuneScape does still exist, but it has become very scarce, only existing in the small corners of the RuneScape world. So for better or worse, gambling is pretty much dead. Nowadays, BTC mostly live streams online casino gambling on his Kick channel and has taken a backseat from RuneScape. With Jagex removing all enjoyable forms of gambling and an absolute lackluster amount of dedication towards PvP, I honestly don't really blame him. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more RuneScape documentary style content. And please guys, don't forget to enter the giveaway. I've really been enjoying making these types of videos, and when you guys engage with the video, it really does help me get a better understanding of what to make next. So until next time, I'll see you guys at the Duel Arena.